flame test. But in order for us to really gauge or to really know if we got the right color, then we must submerge the flame into a cobalt glass. So for example, si sodium, if it is really sodium, then if it gives a persistent golden yellow and under a flame, once you place it in the cobalt glass, it will give us a nil color, no? So again, si cobalt is a test, or should I say confirmatory test, if that substance is really the element. Because in a plain test class, possible it will give a false positive, or it will give us a wrong result. No? Kaya ano man, possible na nagka-decontaminate or na-decontaminate ang ginagamit ninyo na element. So it will give a false positive. In order for us to really test if that metal is present, then we will use cobalt glass. So si cobalt glass kumbaga is a confirmatory test if that substance is really the element. So cobalt glass turns blue very easily without too much work put in it. It is used in the flame test to filter out the flame or filter out the yellow flame, the presence of sodium. So again, it serves as a confirmatory test. So if your substance is potassium, it will give a violet color in the luminous flame. But under your cobalt glass, it will give a crimson red color. So again, a cobalt glass test is used a confirmatory or additional test to confirm the presence of your element. So I hope class, no, every board exam na adyan yung maski 1 point lang na magawas. So during our board exam back then ang nigawas is ammonium. So si ammonium ang yeah, I remember ammonium ang nigawas sa board exam. Area 1 colorless. So it will give no color under a flame. So ayaw kalimti, sayang ang 1 point. Okay, next will be the different cations. So your cations, remember cations, it is called as cations. Why? Because it has a charge. And what is the charge of this element? Positive charge. So these cations are grouped according to their solubility in different solvent. So for example, your group 1 or insoluble chlorides such as your mercury, lead, silver are insoluble in chloride. So take note, they will form precipitate since insoluble sa they will form a precipitate under or with the presence of hydrochloric acid. So again, your group 1 will form a precipitate under hydrochloric acid. While your group number 2, which is which is trying to see the following elements. So what is the distinctive about your group number 2 is that they do not react. Take note, it will not react with hydrochloric acid, but it will form a precipitate with your hydrogen sulfides. So that's why acid insoluble sulfide sila. So again do not forget the distinctive about group number 2 is that they do not react with hydrochloric acid, but they will form precipitate under your hydrogen sulfide, and take note, ammonium sulfide. Again, class, remember your group 2. So they will not react with hydrochloric acid but form precipitate with two of the solvent, hydrogen sulfide and ammonium sulfide. How about group number 3? So see group number 3, they cannot form or react with hydrochloric acid and your hydrogen sulfide. But however, they form precipitate with your ammonium sulfide. So again, so try to see the distinctive groupings ha. They form the following. Oh, so klaro yung distinction ha. Pag group 3, dili sa mo react sa hydrochloric acid, dili po siya mo react sa hydrogen sulfide, but it will form a precipitate under your ammonium sulfide. That's why it is called as base insoluble sulfide, which is, so ammonium sulfide is a base. While your group number 4, which is your sulfate insoluble group, they do not react, perform precipitate with the following: hydrochloric acid, your hydrogen sulfide, and your ammonium sulfide. But rather, they form precipitate with your ammonium chloride. So take note ha of the following solvents. So that is your group number 4. And lastly, this group number 5, which are your magnesium, ammonium, your sodium, potassium, they are your soluble group, which means they do not form any precipitate with other solvent na na-mention. So, wala sila. Soluble sila with all of the elements or rather solvent that are mentioned. So, that's how they categorize the different cations based on their property in a solution. So, I hope you get the chance to familiarize this one. No, dali naman yung distinction. Just remember, ang isa ka-group, advance sa isa. So next is we have this one. So generally speaking, all of your sulfides are black or forms a black precipitate, except with the following elements or compound rather. So si antimony sulfide, it will give an orange color or orange precipitate. Take note of that ha. All sulfides are black except of the following compound. Manganese sulfide, this will give us a pink color. Zinc sulfide will give us a white color. Then your cadmium sulfide will give us a yellow color. And your bismuth sulfide will either provide us with a brown or black color. So again, these are the different colors of sulfides ha. And remember, if I see one of these uh, compounds will be thrown to you during your board examination. Next is your anion, or again, why they are called as anion? Because they carry a negative charge. So again, these are the following anions class, no? So two of the following will give us the groupings for chlorine, bromine, iodine. Try to see in silver nitrate with nitric acid. This will give us the following color. Silver chloride will give us white. Silver bromide will give us cream color, and silver iodide will give us yellow color. The rest are insoluble in nitric acid. But in barium chloride plus nitric acid, it will not provide us with a precipitate. Next, for group number 2, which is your nitrile, your sulfide, and your acetate, under silver nitrate, it will give a black precipitate but soluble in nitric acid, which is your silver sulfide. While si nitrile and acetic ion does not produce any precipitate. Same thing, they will not also produce precipitate under barium chloride and nitric acid. So again, just try to see the different ions or anions with their respective result under the different solvent, which is your silver nitrate plus your nitric acid and your barium chloride plus your nitric acid. So once you mix the or prepare this substance or to identify this substance, make sure to notice also the precipitate that they will provide. So si sulfite under your silver nitrate and nitric acid, this substance will not give any precipitate, but under barium, it will provide a white precipitate, but this will be solubilized with the presence of nitric acid. So again, these are the following identity of an ion. So make sure that you familiarize this one. Okay, next, the most abundant cations and anions that are found in our body. So with the primary cations are the following. We have potassium and sodium. So we term that one as your PSO. Again, the primary cations are your PSO, which means potassium in, sodium out. While the primary anion class is termed as your piclo. Phosphate in, chlorine out. So again, the primary anions are the following: phosphate and your chloride. Chloride ay na rather because it is an ion. So, take note, piccolo and piso. these are the primary cations and anions that are abundant in our body. Then the secondary are the following. We have your Nico for cations. Magnesium in, calcium out. For anions, we have SIBO, which is sulfate in, bicarbonate out. So again, secondary and primary cations. So, and anions rather. So these are abundant ions that are found in our body. Piso, Piclo, Mico, and Se or Sibo rather. Next is also the hardness of water. So when I say hardness of water, it doesn't literally means na matigas ang water, but it will provide us a stain in our kitchen or in our sink. Try to see, di ba, these are most abundant in our shower, where water are always present, no? Magkaroon siya ng stain, which is really hard for us to remove. Again, the reason for this one is due to the fact that it contains salt. So, for example, for term or for temporary hardness of water, it contains magnesium, calcium in your carbonate. So how are we going to remove this one? So this can be removed by the addition of boiling water. So in order for you to remove a temporary hardness, then you need to put a boiling water to your sink or into your kitchen sink. Next is for your permanent water. This contains the following: magnesium, calcium, sulfate, and chloride. So to remove this one is medyo we need a tool na, which is your ion exchange resins. Again, why is it there is a hardness of water or the white unremovable stain found in our sink, faucet, in our toilet? Because of the salts that are found in our water. So to remove this one, you can use this one or use the ion exchange resin. Next is also the important gases that are used in the pharmaceutical field. Take note that gases are can has a wide variety of functions in our pharmaceutical pharmacy and also into our health. So we have different gas, no? And also this gas class are color coordinated. Pag hydrogen gas, it should be placed in a red tank or red container. Pag helium, this should be placed in a brown container. Pag oxygen, this would be placed in a green container because green means life. Then pag nitrogen, it should be placed in a black container. Remember, nitrogen is also means azote or without life. So that's why it is placed in a black container. Next, your carbon dioxide are placed in a gray container, while your nitrous oxide should be placed in a black or rather blue container. Your acetylene gas are placed in a maroon color container. Your argon are placed in a dark green color. And lastly, your chlorine gas are placed in a yellow container. Again, regardless of the color coordination class, it is very safe to place or label properly your gas tank, no? To really avoid mix-ups and the unnecessary use of the following gases. Because some of these gases are toxic to humans, especially once they are inhaled. So again, whenever you use something, always first or always read the label first before using. So aside from this one, we also have different radiopharmaceuticals that are used to diagnose or treat a certain disease. And most of these radiopharmaceutical class are primarily used for screening cancer or detecting cancer and used for the treatment of cancer. So these are radioactive elements that are made from atoms whose nuclei are unstable. Well, since ang nuclei nila is unstable, it will give off an atomic radiation, which is now a radioactive element. So we have different, no? Try to see radiopharmaceuticals. We have technetium 99M late or tape. So these are used for liver imaging. Then we also have this one, technetium 99M heptagluconate. So this element is used for kidney imaging and also to test your kidney function. Next, your technetium 99 IDA. This is used to test your hepatobiliary. Others say biliary, biliary, it's up to them. Hepatobiliary. Next, we have your technetium 99 oxygenate. This is used for bone imaging. Try to see, this is mostly for diagnosis, no? Then, see, technetium 99 injection is used for brain scanning. And we have your technetium 99 albumin aggregated injection. This is to scan your technetium 99 pyrophosphate. This is to check your heart if it is, or to scan your heart or to test your cardiac infarct imaging. Infarct imaging. So again, these are some of the radiopharmaceuticals that are used for diagnosing or for scanning or diagnosis. Next is we also have your iodine human serum albumin. So this is to check the cardiac output and also for the determination of the total blood volume. Next, we also have your iodohepurate. So this is to same again with your technetium, no? This is to check the cardiac infarct imaging. Next is sodium iodide. This is to check your ocular tumors. Sodium phosphate serum albumin. This is to test if you have or hyper or hypothyroidism. So for thyroid scanning siya. And for your cyanocobalamin, which is also known as your vitamin B12. This is used for diagnostic for pernicious anemia. So again, these are all of the different radioactives that are useful in the treatment and diagnosing of our different diseases rather. So we're done now with the different preliminary topics. So we will now go on into our official discussion, which is the different elements that are found in the periodic table. So we will start first with the group 1A, or also known as your alkali metals, except for hydrogen, because hydrogen is a non-metal. So we have lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, bronze. So again, the group 1A has a valence electron of positive 1. So therefore, since they are metal class, take note, since they are metal, they will transfer or give off their valence electron to be able for them to become stable. They are the most reactive, take note, reactive group. So their alkalinity increases with increased atomic number. And take note that the element francium is the